Oil prices have been rising over the last couple of weeks, and that has many concerned that these higher oil prices will hurt the stock market. So let's see what the correlation is between rapidly rising oil prices and the overall market. The simplest way to answer the question is look at the past, and we've got a little bit of a clue there. So diving in, how correlated are stock prices to oil price surges? Well, what I did is I plotted this chart here. The line that is blue is rising oil prices, well, just oil prices. And then we have the S&P 500. This is a weekly chart. And notice when oil prices rose over here, that was the start of the conflict with Iran, you had this rapid rise in oil prices and the stock market fell for 4 or 5 weeks. And then this past 2 weeks, we've had, again, a fairly rapid rise in prices, but the drop in the stock market has been pretty minor. What this tells us is that the initial shock of a war with Iran and the shock of rising oil prices certainly caused some concern for the market. But what tends to happen over time is investors get somewhat desensitized to these wild swings. And I think many investors believe that the movement in oil prices is relatively short-lived. Yes, it rises for a couple of weeks, maybe it'll rise even longer, but eventually they normalize because it is so important for the oil producing economies and really the global economies to get that supply of oil moving. And so they'll find other ways. Maybe it's not through the Strait of Hormuz, maybe it's via pipelines and other routes. And so the short-term move is quite sharp, but it isn't having the same effect on the market that it had after the first shock. And that's the case with wars as well. Anytime there's a war that breaks out, you get an initial shock, markets panic a little bit, and then after a while, people tend to just shrug it off and not worry about it so much. Now, that doesn't mean that the stock market can't see weakness. It certainly could. But as I go into the analysis of the overall markets in just a moment, we'll see that it's certainly not as much of a concern as one might think. So let's dive into the market charts now. Going into the Stockscores.com website, my website. And just a reminder, we have a free weekly email that goes out with my stock picks and some commentary on trading and investing in the market. We're going to dive into the first chart here, the SPY, and I've got the weekly charts up right now. This is the daily chart. And what we're in is a pattern of compressing volatility. So we had a rapid rise through April and May, and we're reconciling those gains with what's called a pennant pattern. You can see the bottoms are rising, the tops are falling, the market generally sideways. This is called a pennant. And typically out of a pennant, you move in the same direction that you came into it as. So it's actually not a terrible pattern just yet. Now, one thing to be concerned about is if we start to break that cycle of rising bottoms and move down next week sharply, then that starts to show that the sellers are gaining momentum. You do see the Stockscores indicator starting to fall off a little bit, and that's because that momentum is slowing. So there's no breakdown there yet, but I think we want to be cautious of it. Now, here's the 3-year weekly chart, and you can see big picture, we are still in a strong upward trend. That was the start of the Iran war. This was tariffs, and now we're just sort of back up towards the top of that trend line, and perhaps we'll meander back here, but I'm not too concerned about it just yet. Now, the NASDAQ looks a little weaker than the S&P. So the NASDAQ stocks had a much sharper rise, the semiconductor stocks in particular, and this market has actually broken down out of that pennant, and we're now into a bit more of a downward trend. If we go into the 1-month, 2-hour chart, you can see that the trend is actually down on the NASDAQ stocks. And so that shows that that profit taking is happening there. Again, mostly semiconductors, but stocks like Apple are doing fairly well. And then other groups in that tech heavy market are suffering a little bit. All right, let's move along to the small cap market. And the small cap stocks are sensitive to rising interest rates. And with rising oil prices, you get rising inflation, and then central banks have to keep interest rates elevated. So that's perhaps why we've been sort of suffering here through the month of July with that general pullback. We're still long-term in a decent trend, but the 1-month trend for the month of July has been somewhat negative. If we go into the 1-month chart here, you can see that we switch from rising bottoms to falling tops. That's switching from optimism to pessimism. We're testing this support level. If we start to move down through that floor, then we may get an acceleration to the downside. So I think a cautionary note there on the small cap stocks is warranted. Looking at the Toronto Stock Exchange, it's faring quite well. The upward trend is intact, and of course there's that heavy contingent of energy stocks on the Canadian market, and perhaps that's helping. Canadian bank stocks have been doing quite well also. If we go to the 3-year chart here, you will see that the trend is very strong and up. We've had just minor blips along the way, and so relatively healthy market on the Canadian side. Let's take a look at gold. Gold has been in that downward trend for 4 or 5 months since we had that parabolic trend, the bursting bubble candle and the break of the bursting bubble candle in there. And until that cycle of falling tops is over, we should remain fairly pessimistic about gold. However, we are approaching that long-term upward trend line. And when we get to that point, we may get a bounce off of that trend line of support. Hasn't happened yet, but the momentum to the downside is slowing a little bit, so perhaps we're on the edge of a potential bounce back. Oil, there you see the big run in oil over the last 2 weeks, but it hasn't broken through new highs yet. My sense is we're probably going to build a falling top here and then roll over, but until we break this upward move, and you can see that upward move more clearly on the 1-month chart, here is the upward trend line. So we run away, we pull back until we actually break down through that upward move in the short term. You have to remain short-term bullish on oil, but still sort of neutral longer term. Let's take a look at the currencies. US dollar is quite strong. You can see the cycle of rising bottoms there. So the market and the global economy likes the US dollar as it has for a long, long time. And then Bitcoin, which has been pretty ugly, is stabilizing. You can see the stability there, but we also had stability here. It tried and it failed. Had stability here, it tried and it failed. So we need to break this cycle, this downward trend line, before we can get real optimistic on Bitcoin. Looking at that 3-year chart, there's the trend there. The upward trend broken right in here late last year, 2025, when that upward trend was broken, and Bitcoin has been one to avoid since then. Now, TLT, I think this is one of the more important charts. That rise in oil prices has led to a drop in the bond market, which means interest rates in the bond market have been rising, because we have an inverse relationship between bond market prices and interest rates. And that is a negative for stocks in general, but more so the small cap stocks. So we want to remain somewhat cautious there. So ratings then, neutral, short-term, long-term bullish for US large cap, short-term bearish, long-term bullish for NASDAQ, small cap, short-term neutral, long-term bullish, Canadian bullish on both timeframes, gold, short-term bearish, long-term neutral, oil bullish in the short term, but I haven't raised my rating long term because we still have that risk of a falling top. US dollar is bullish, Bitcoin neutral short term and bearish long term, and bonds bearish on both time frames. All right, now let's take a look at the trade of the week. As many of you know, I run a service every day called Active Live, where we day trade the stock market via a webinar that goes on each day. And one of the key things that we're always looking for are stocks that come alive behaving abnormally. And we love it when this happens with low price stocks. Now, we typically do that on a 1-minute time frame, looking for 1-minute action candles. And I talk about those in many of these videos. But this past week, there was a stock that took off so fast that it really made more of a signal on the 13-minute chart, where it set up a nice 13-minute candle. And this is something that I wouldn't normally use, but because the stock just had no pullbacks early in the upward trend, it was about the only way to jump on board this stock. So here is the stock that nobody cared about, STAK, and then it comes alive in the afternoon on Friday. You can see my indicators firing there. The yellow dot means a message candle, abnormal price action, and the orange dot is abnormal price and abnormal volume. You can see the big spike in volume there. That was at around $2, and over the next hour, hour and a half, the stock went up 600% to $12. I have no idea why. I don't really care why. It's simply following market action. When something is happening, when some investors learn of a reason to buy the stock aggressively, they do, and I just follow them using these statistical models looking for stocks behaving abnormally. You can learn more about that at my website, stockscores.com. And if you have enjoyed this video, do me a favor, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, trade well.